let's talk about something that could be a total game changer for our planet's water. What if you could build a filter that uses cutting-edge nanotechnology to clean up the absolute worst industrial pollution, and then, when it's done, it just disappears? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, let's dive in. So just think about that for a second. What if a filter wasn't just a screen? What if it could be smart, incredibly powerful, and also, at the very end of its life, completely biodegradable? That's the big idea we're going to unpack today. Okay, so to really get why this innovation is so cool, we first need to get our heads around the problem it's trying to solve. And trust me, it's a big one. The challenge of industrial wastewater. Think about all the stuff we make. The clothes we wear, the paint on our walls, the fuel in our cars. So many of these industries, textiles, refineries, you name it, they all create this nasty byproduct. And this isn't just muddy water we're talking about. It's a seriously toxic cocktail. What makes this wastewater so incredibly hard to clean up is just how messy it is. It's this complex soup of heavy metals and really stubborn organic pollutants all mixed together. Your average filter just can't handle that kind of thing. So, how in the world do you clean up a mess like that? Well, a team of researchers at Khalifa University has come up with a really innovative and honestly a pretty elegant solution. And the kicker, it's completely biodegradable. All right, so the foundation of this filter is something called a chitosan membrane. Now, chitosan is a biopolymer, which is really just a fancy way of saying it's a natural, kind of plastic-like material. And get this, it comes from the shells of shrimp and crabs. So the very structure of the filter is not only strong, but it's also designed to break down naturally. Pretty cool. But that biodegradable base is just the start. The real magic, the secret sauce, comes from what's mixed inside it. Engineered nanomaterials, or ENMs. You can think of these as tiny, custom-built particles that give the filter all of its cleaning power. They're the ones doing the heavy lifting. So what exactly is this secret ingredient? Let's take a closer look at the specific nanomaterial that gives this filter its superpowers. The star of the show here is a material called molybdenum disulfide. We'll just call it MOS. It's part of a family of 2D materials, which means they are unbelievably thin. We're talking 1 or 2 atoms thick. And because they're so incredibly thin, they have these really remarkable properties. And this is where the research gets really fascinating. The team found out that it wasn't just about using MOS2, it was about its shape. The shape was absolutely critical. So they engineered it into 3 different forms: tiny spheres, flat little platelets, and these crumpled up nanosheets. It turns out each shape interacts with pollutants in a totally different way, and that has a huge impact on how well the filter works. Okay, so we've got a biodegradable membrane, and it's filled with these perfectly shaped nanoparticles. But how does it all come together to actually clean the water? Well, it launches a 2-pronged attack. The genius of this whole system is that it uses 2 different mechanisms that work together. You've got adsorption, which is basically like physically trapping the bad stuff, and then you have catalysis, which is all about actively destroying it. So first up is adsorption. The easiest way to picture this is like a super strong magnet. The MOS-SU particles are amazing at attracting and literally grabbing onto heavy metal pollutants, yanking them right out of the water and holding on tight. The second mechanism, catalysis, is much more aggressive. If adsorption is a magnet, think of catalysis as a pair of molecular scissors. These nanomaterials actively create little chemical reactions that just shred pollutants to pieces. We're talking industrial dyes, nasty organic molecules, even germs. They can even boost common cleaners like hydrogen peroxide, turning them into super-powered weapons that just annihilate the contaminants. So the theory sounds incredible, right? But the real question is, did it actually work? Let's take a look at how this new membrane performed when they put it to the test. And yeah, the results were pretty stunning. The filter wasn't just better at grabbing heavy metals, it also had less clogging. That's a huge problem in filters called fouling. Because it didn't clog as much, more water could flow through it, making the whole process way more efficient. Plus, the filter itself was just tougher and more stable. So basically, it works better, lasts longer, and gets the job done faster. The lead researcher, Dr. Linda Zhu, put it perfectly. She said, "This work has opened up new possibilities for incorporating specifically designed 2D nanomaterials into polymer membranes to enhance water treatment capabilities." What she's saying is, this isn't just a slightly better filter, it's a whole new playbook for how we can purify water. So, when you step back and think about it, we're combining a material from nature with these incredibly tiny, precisely engineered particles to solve one of our biggest environmental problems. It's just a great reminder that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the smallest of things. Which really leaves us with one big question. Could nanotechnology be the key to a future with clean water for everyone?